indeed would encounter advanced extraterrestrial intelligence, we probably shouldn't tell the masses of people because, sociologically, theologically, scientifically, it would be a damn disaster. So they published that study, and it literally became national policy. And it's one of the major reasons why the lid has been kept down so tightly on this thing for so long. As I said, it's not simply that we're being visited by guys from other planets. It isn't simply that we're being visited by guys from other star systems, nor are we being, from other galaxies. Good God, those are all given. They also learned, and we knew that when I retired in '76, that we're being visited by guys from other dimensions. They're coming through portals, apparently. They create portals, apparently. And they're coming and going from other dimensions. And the more advanced societies we have encountered have been multidimensional. And it's no wonder that our ancestors deified these dudes back 10,000 years ago. I think there are people today who would deify them if they were to confront them and see what they can do and understand where they're from and what their capabilities are. You would think that it was almost godlike to have that kind of technology. So, over the years I have come to a point where I've almost begun to be patient and tolerant of the government's lies. But not quite. Not quite. I'm so fed up with government lies, I don't even know where to start. You too, huh? A couple of people, last week I was over at the Bay Area conference, and a couple of people said, "What have we learned in the last year since you were here?" And I said, "Well, we learned that we American people elected a black president." Isn't that pretty damned impressive? Who would have ever thought that the American people could elect a black president? Listen, guys, I'm from the last century. That is dynamite to me. And my heart goes out to that kid because he's likable, he's personable, and he's bright. And I wish him well. I hope to hell he can pull it off. He's got so damn much on his plate. But he ain't going to disclose this subject anytime soon, because he's not ready for this. I don't even think he's been briefed yet on what this is all about. You all know the story of what happened to Jimmy Carter, who promised to everybody that when he was elected, he was going to release all of the UFO information. He got into Washington and he got his national security briefing. He walked out of his briefing with tears in his eyes. Apparently, the director of Central Intelligence said, "Mr. President, you don't have a high enough clearance, sir, to have access to all this material." Now, can you believe that? The director of Central Intelligence says, "Also, sir, you don't have a need to know." And poor old Jimmy he wilted. And as a result, he never said boo about anything during his 4 years in office. Promises went down the tube. Who was the director of Central Intelligence? Some guy by the name of George Herbert Walker Bush. Now we're beginning to put pieces together here. The puzzle is beginning to form here. Who's sitting on top of this damn cover-up? Oh my. Now I want to share something with you here. The guys in Spain ask me continually, when is there going to be disclosure? Good God, you guys, when is it? It's been years and years and years now. We expect the United States government to disclose this. When are you going to do it? And I said, guys, hold your breath. It ain't going to happen anytime soon because it's too big a story. And then, of course, Greer and Bassett were there at the conference. And, well, let me give you a small parable here. I've got a little parable I've prepared. It's called The Three Stephens and the Apocalypse. That sounds religious enough, doesn't it? The three Stephens in the apocalypse. I want to now touch upon that word, apocalypse, because that's another word that ticks me off. I am so pissed off at the number of people who misuse that word. Most of my fundamentalist friends, and I have a few still, yet after all these years, keep talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Oh my God, we're doomed, you know. War, famine, plague, pestilence. The four horsemen are riding. For God's sake, the four horsemen have been riding for 10,000 damn years. But most of them never really grasped the meaning of the word apocalypse. It's a Greek word, and it has several meanings. The revealing, the uncovering, and the disclosing of what? The truth. And you're living in the middle of the apocalypse. You've been living in it for the last 10 to 20 years, and you're going to be living in it for another 20 or 30 years. The revealing, the uncovering, and the disclosing is taking place. As you sit here and as you breathe, it is taking place now. But I got into this little tangle with Greer and Bassett. I respect them both. They're decent guys. I've known Stephen Greer for years. They keep hammering away. They have these conferences in Washington, and they keep prodding the Congress, and they keep prodding the government. And you've got to have a committee. You've got to reveal this material. You've got to tell the American people the truth, blah, blah, blah. And the government, pardon me, but they give them that middle finger, you know, in the air. Excuse me, ladies, I'm sorry, that's rather rude, but the government does that to Greer and Bassett. And they go back and they say, well, maybe next week, maybe next month. Oh, a new administration. Ooh, we've got Podesta, who worked for Clinton. We've got Panetta, who worked for Clinton. And we got a young president who I believe is honest and transparent and is going to tell us the truth. I said to Bassett and Greer, don't hold your breath, guys. It ain't going to happen. That new president ain't going to put that on his plate, not if he can avoid it. Because he's not going to get the whole story right now. He's got so damn much piled up outside of his Oval Office, he can hardly get in and out of it. And you all know the story on that. Now, who's the other Stephen? Young man in Hollywood. Spielberg. Now, where does he fit into this thing? Well, when I was asked about disclosure, is it going to happen? And I say no, yes, yes, no, no, yes. And everybody's saying, what the hell is he talking about? Disclosure has been underway for some time. Steven Spielberg made a bunch of movies. He made E.T., which I think most of you have probably seen. That was for the kids. He made another one called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that was for the big guys. And then he made a television series called Taken, which was dynamite. And tell me, and I've got this from sources that I trust, that he's got two separate programs in the mill, another movie and perhaps another TV series that he's working on, that they're going to come up with hopefully in the next few years. Now these movies, as they come out, affect people. There's not a one of you here in the audience that wasn't, affected by E.T. It was cute. It was a kid's story, really. And I think there's not a